charges. Right? What does the Bible say about agree with thine adversary quickly, lest he drag you before the magistrate and throw you in jail? Does that mean for you to agree with everything that he claims? No. Agreement means you prove your claim. Oh, you can't? Okay, good. We have agreement. Thank you. Now fuck off.
Alright. So, that's Dean Clifford. Hopefully you guys have been checking out some of his stuff too. This one's just an update. I got my register of mail receipt from the court, which they're denying that they never received. And here we can see that we got the court's stamp on there. Bada boom, Westminster Court, November. So they have received my certified mail receipt copy as well. There we go. Westminster, you can't hide. We're coming to get you. So, I had some comments on the last videos that I posted up, so I don't think I actually made it clear or finished reading the entire document that I had submitted into the court, so that's what we're going to be doing here today. Just real quick and briefly, I wrote some notes here as well. Okay, the maximum of law is that an unrebutted affidavit stands as truth. If you submit an affidavit and they don't reply to it, that's your truth. You're swearing and saying this is what happened, and no one's come and said, hey, look, that's not what happened, or no, I'm disagreeing, or no, that's not what happened, or this isn't the circumstances. So they're basically in tacit agreement. Fact is an agreement of the party. Evidence is a contract. Okay, so a fact is an agreement of the parties, where basically we're in agreement with everything that I've sent to them. They're in agreement with my affidavit because they failed to respond. Statutes are only laws when you agree to be governed by them. Okay? So, hopefully you guys caught the Westminster case that I posted up on here where the judge threw me out and they assaulted me and threw me out of court, and I filed the $8 million claim for assault and disrespect and all that other stuff. Basically, I didn't want to really go into court and argue, because what I'm trying to do is let them basically hand me my civil case and put it in my lap. Like, I'm allowing them to testify against themselves so that I can come against them with a civil case like I did with this affidavit, which we're about to get into. But first, just going to cover some of these basic points. Basically, I made the statements because my whole civil claim is against them to see where they're ignoring my affidavit. Okay, they're ignoring my affidavit, which is fine because it's now a matter of public record. Their crimes are on the record. They can't keep it private anymore because I've submitted the affidavit. It's public record. If you guys remember the video that I posted from when I was in Pomona, where I went into court and told the judge, hey, I'm not Christopher Fleming. I'm the third-party authorized representative for that person. I'm the administrator and the executor, the beneficiary of the trust that had been created for my legal person, Christopher Fleming. As the beneficiary of the man, I have a share of the commonwealth that's basically going around. All of the commerce that's going around in society is because we, the people, have allowed the government to come here and use our land or use the land to basically conduct commerce. So we're allowing them to do that, and this is all our share of the commonwealth because they've taken everything from us. They took our land, they took the gold, they took our property, they've sold it all off and leaned it all off to go do whatever they're going to go do to the creditors, and basically made us liable for the national debt. As I'm sure if you're watching this video, you already know. So I know I'm preaching to the choir, but maybe someone hasn't or doesn't know. Just Google strawman redemption. It'll walk you through it. Okay, so my point is that when I went into Pomona court and I told them, hey, look, I'm the third-party authorized representative and executor, what did they do? They arrested me. He just said, oh, I have an independent recollection. I know it's hard to hear the audio, but if you go back and listen to it, you can hear the judge say, I have an independent recollection that you are Christopher Fleming. No, I'm not that. I'm not Mr. Fleming. Mr. is only attributed to legal fictions, and I'm not a legal fiction. I'm a man. I'm standing right here in front of you. But what they do is they have this whole tactic where they take you and they throw you down in the basement. So you can see that I got arrested there, and they took me downstairs, and they left me down there for an hour and a half until they brought the DA down, or the public defender, my public pretender, um, to come and negotiate deals or whatever they wanted to do with me. So none of that ever happened, basically. It's not on the court record. They're not ever saying that, you know, oh, we took Chris in custody, who's in custody, and it's like, if they don't want to see that, it didn't happen. Because you have to express an injury. An injury not expressed cannot be addressed. So this is the proper way to do it. This is why I filed the affidavit, as you heard from the last one. I never got to read all this because I don't want to bore everyone, but I think that it's necessary that, because some of the comments and the emails that I got are people think that I haven't done everything properly, and I have. So I don't know if you know what I'm talking about or what I'm doing, so that's why I'm trying to share so that everyone knows what page I'm on and where I'm at and where you're at, and you can compare and look. And then if you want to go and talk shit and send me stupid ass comments or video responses, that's fine. Or you can email me as well. The email's on there. And I do appreciate all your guys' emails. I do read them. Thank you very much. But don't just send me some like crap about how I'm like attacking me for the beneficiary thing. I'm learning, and no one ever told me. And all the people who are posting up videos, you see them, they're all hiding behind ski masks. So I'm out here, I'm telling you what's going on, and I'm trying to figure this out as well. We're all on the same page. Let's work together. Help me, help you, help me. Okay? So the claim being made in court is that I'm operating as a public servant. That's what they're claiming, is that I'm a public servant and that I broke the rules of the criminal code of the United States while performing some function of government. Okay? So what I'm going to do after, because now that I have them in the default, I give them the 21 days or 31 days or whatever the affidavit said for them to reply. I believe it was November 19th they had to reply by. So they've had plenty of time. So now they're getting the notice of default. And the way that's going to work is I'm just going to send them in the notice of default and tell them, hey, you know, I sent you a certified mail registered copy receipt. And I mean, you can put it in a negative avertment as well. I'm thinking about, I'm most likely going to use a negative avertment format. But try to bring up all these points as well. Are you claiming that I'm a public servant? Can you provide the payroll records? Can you provide me a copy of the contract that we entered into that said that I would be compelled to operate, or that I'm going to be compelled to operate as the legal person or stand in place of the legal person as surety or as a trustee, basically. Which they don't have one. Okay, so that's why they're not responding. Are you claiming that your laws apply to me, a man, woman, whatever, someone whom is an agent of the government, basically? Then this will also be sent to the state's attorney or prosecutor here in Canada, the Crown. Ask them, are you claiming that these laws apply to me? And what is your proof? I'm going to give you 10 days to produce evidence that all of your claims. If you do not reply, you've agreed with me that you have no claim, standing in fact, and I will motion the court to dismiss all charges. They do not reply in 10 days, default them. Write up a notice of default, notice of non-response. You have not replied with my registered mail request. Then send in a motion to dismiss. This asshole admitted and agreed with me. He has no claim. Dismiss all charges on my legal person, all charges held against my license, holds, wants, warrants, etc. Like you heard him say, you know, agree with the adversary quickly. That doesn't mean that we have to accept everything that they're saying. I don't have to agree with their terms. Like, oh, you're a driver. Oh, you're subject to present your ID to a police officer upon request. You don't have to do any of this. If you're not in contract with this individual, you don't have to do anything. No one has any authority over you unless you have a contract. Okay? So, just want to get all that out. But basically, here's the affidavit. Here's what I've done. Here's where we're at. So, the next step, this is what I've already sent in. So now I'm going to read you the affidavit, and the next step is what we just covered, basically. Now the notices of default and liens or UCC1 filings, wherever we're going to have to go from there. I have to get all the individual agents involved. I think I have to issue them a W-2 or something, or hand them the W-2, or get their social security numbers, or I have to hire a private investigator to figure out who all these individuals are, because I know that the judge isn't operating as, it's not his name, you know, like they change their names around, or they operate under these other pretext or context. So, this is my second affidavit that I never got around to reading on my first one. Affidavit of Truth. Be it known to all courts, governments, and other parties that I, Christopher of the Fleming family, am a natural, free-born sovereign, without subjects. I am neither subject to any entity anywhere, nor is any entity subject to me. I neither dominate anyone, nor am I dominated. My authority for this statement is the same as is follows all sovereigns everywhere, an age-old, timeless, universal respect for intrinsic rights, properties, freedoms, responsibilities of the sovereign individual. I am not a person. When such a term is defined in the statutes of the United States or statutes of the several states, when such definitions include artificial entities. I refuse to be treated as a federally or state-created entity, which is only capable of exercising certain rights, which would be civil rights, because those are created by legislation. The creator can never be more than the created can never become more than the creator, or higher than the creator, which is a maxim of law as well. Okay, so we're gonna do law. Refuse to be treated. Okay. Privileges. Okay. I refuse to be treated as a federally or state-created entity which is only capable of exercising certain rights, privileges, and immunities specifically granted by the federal or state governments. I voluntarily choose to comply with the man-made laws which serve to bring harmony to society, but no such laws or their enforcers have any authority over me. I am not in any jurisdiction, for I am not of subject status, consistent with the eternal tradition of natural common law. Unless I have harmed or violated someone or their property, I have committed no crime, and I am therefore not subject to any penalty. Okay, that's a pretty bold statement right there, and if you understand what that means, this is basically saying that if you don't have a victim, or if I haven't caused any damage or harmed anyone, then I'm under the common law. I'm operating under common law, whereas there can't be any crime that's committed. A crime is a very definitive, articulable thing, where there's proof of a damaged or injured party coming with a claim. Okay? So, me not using my traffic signals or driving without a license isn't a crime. Okay, that's a statute. Those are rules, regulations, and bylaws. A bylaw is the rule of corporation. The corporation of the United States of America has these rules that they use to keep their employees in line, basically. And they say that we're all their employees and we're all their workers, basically. It's like if you work at Walmart, you can't go, if you're working at Walmart, you can't walk into Walmart with alcohol on your breath. Or be, excuse me, what's my point, dude? You can't, because that's the policy of the corporation that you're not allowed to drink on the job. Okay, if you're working at Coca-Cola, you can't drink at your desk. Okay, because but that doesn't mean that if you're not at work at Coca-Cola that you can't drink. Okay, so those are only enforced. A bylaw is a rule of a corporation. Okay, statutes are not law. They're statutes, which is regulations for employees of the federal government to keep them in line. It's basically like the rules of any employees of the government, basically, that they have to follow. And that would require my consent. Right? So I would have to say, oh yeah, I'm a U.S. citizen. Oh yeah, I'm subject to you. Or I'm a 14th Amendment United States citizen, and I'm subject to your jurisdiction. Which I'm not. I've already said that I'm not. Which is what's in here, which we're going to get to. But just so that everything is perfectly clear here, this is the part of, everyone keeps saying, oh, well, you never stated in your affidavit. Well, no, I did, because this is my affidavit that was sent in as well. So just relax. This is why we're going over all this. Quote, in accordance with the following U.S. Supreme Court case, quote, the individual may stand upon his constitutional rights as a citizen. He is entitled to carry on in his private business in his own way. His power to contract is unlimited. He owes no such duty. And then in brackets, in parentheses, to submit his books, papers for examinations to the state, since he receives nothing therefrom, beyond the protection of his life and property. His rights are such as existed by the law of the land, in quote, in brackets again, common law, long, where was I? His rights are such as existed by the law of the land, common law, long antecedent to the organization of the state, and can only be taken from him by due process of law in accordance with the Constitution. Among his rights are the refusal to incriminate himself, the immunity for himself and his property from arrest and seizure except under warrant of the law. He owes nothing to the public so long as he does not trespass upon their rights. Hale versus Hinkle, 201 U.S. 43 at 47, 1905. So that's the U.S. Supreme Court case ruling. I go on. Further, be it known to all that I reserve my natural common law right to not be compelled to perform under any contract that I did not enter into knowingly, voluntarily, and intentionally. And furthermore, I do not accept the liability associated with the compelled and pretended benefit of any hidden or unrevealed contract or commercial agreement, okay, such as driver's license, marriage certificates, or using postal zip codes for my address. That automatically means that I'm subject to the jurisdiction. I'm in the United States jurisdiction. No, it doesn't. Okay, so if you have these little hidden or unrevealed contracts, those don't apply as well. Okay. That's why I always sign all my tickets under protest and duress as well. I'm just going to cut this off in 3 minutes and we'll make part 2 or something. Okay. Hope y'all remember. Okay. As such, the hidden or unrevealed contracts that supposedly create obligations to perform for persons of subject status are inapplicable to me, and are null and void. If I participated in any of the supposed benefits associated with the hidden contracts, I have done so under duress for lack of any other practical alternative. I may have received such benefits, but I have not accepted them in a manner that binds me to anything. Okay? Any such participation does not constitute acceptance in contract law. Because of the absence of full disclosure of any valid offer, the voluntarily consistent without misrepresentation or coercion under contract law, without a valid or voluntary offer and acceptance knowingly entered into by both parties, there is no meeting of the minds, and therefore no valid contract. Any supposed contract is therefore void ab initio. Okay? From my age of consent to the date affixed below, I have never signed any contract knowingly, willingly, intentionally, voluntarily, whereby I waived any of my natural common law rights. And as such, take notice that I revoke, cancel, and make void ab initio my signature on any and all contracts, agreements, forms, or any instrument which may be construed in any way to give any agency or department of any federal or state government authority, venue, or jurisdiction over me, the real man. Alright, we're going to take a little break here. We'll smoke and I'll be back and we'll finish this up. I promise I'll get through the rest of this pretty quick, okay? Alright, love you guys. Thanks.